Welcome to Louisiana Heartbeats. I'm Sudie Landry, and here we are again with another new author to some of you. But to me, I've been knowing this lady for a while, and she's been working real hard to be able to come on this show. It is a blessing to take out of her busy schedule. Welcome to the show, Terry L. Bethea.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Listen, Acadiana, we have a lot of new authors out there that we are trying to showcase and let you know who they are. And Terry's been so busy moving around all over the place that I finally ran into her again at another event that we were doing in New Iberia, and literally, she was on one side of the street,
And you were on the
and I was on the other side of the street, and thanks to one of our friends, they let me know that she was there. And that is why we have connected again. But Terry's been writing some special books that she's had a vision and a mission that she wants to complete. So I'm going to basically let Terry go ahead and talk about how did your writing books come about? Did you just wake up one night or one morning and say you wanted to write a book?
Well, actually, no. We had moved recently to Lafayette in 1993, and I was sitting in the kitchen at home, and for whatever reason, I collect Noah's Ark stuff. I don't know why. When it started, and I was sitting in the kitchen, and honestly, I looked up at a plaque that's on my kitchen wall, and it says, Diligence the Snail Made It. And the story came. I didn't really think about it, just came. I wrote it down, I typed it out, and from that point on, every time I read, I would read it to the children in public schools.
So we're going to be talking about the Ark series then.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take the people in the audience through the stages. Now, I understand you just retired from being a school teacher of many grades?
Yes, many grades. I taught special ed, transition first, second, third, fourth, fifth, not in that order, in 2 different states. So a career that spanned 40 years.
And this lady is even, I think, got the Energized Bunny beat. She's awesome as far as her energy goes, and you can't help but get excited. Actually, she's slowing down on purpose, I can see, because between she and I, we both have to tone it down sometimes, I guess. But get ready, hang on, because it's not going to stay this quiet.
No.
Okay, well, back to Terry has a vision that she now has taken her writing to, and it looks like the Lord's opening huge doors for you. So, first of all, the book that she just mentioned a few minutes ago, what was the name of that book? Why Snails Are Slow?
Why Snails Are Slow. Yes, it's the story of the 2 snails as they journey toward Noah's Ark, and it's told through the viewpoint of Teresa, the female snail. And she is complaining constantly to God the entire time they're traveling. It's too slow. She wants to go faster. She wants wings like the bird. She wants strong legs. And she's complaining. And the entire time God is reassuring her that he has a purpose for her life.
So go ahead and switch over to the books, and we're going to let Terry explain to them. The middle book is the one that says Why Snails Are Slow. And then we're going to go on, and your books are on the screen right now. So Terry just happens to have part of your name, Teresa. Terry?
It does. That's actually when I made my confirmation way back in the day. St. Teresa was the name I chose, even though my real name is Terry. But the middle book, Why Snails Are Slow, I read that every year to public school children, and in 2003 I was teaching 2nd grade at Ernest Gollette. And one of the students, after hearing the story, said, you should get that published. And I was sitting on a table, and I jumped up and I said, I can do that. I can get it published. I didn't even know if I could, but they believed in me. So I made them 2 promises that I would, when the book became a real book, that I would dedicate it to them, which I did, and that I would hunt them down like dogs, and everybody would get a copy. And 7-year-olds love that, except the problem was the next day they wanted to know if it was a book. So I learned quickly that children think things happen immediately. But I will tell you this, it took 10 years, but yes, I found all 21 of those children. The last 3 I found after I retired from teaching 2 years ago. They graduated high school, and I was able to find them on Facebook, believe it or not, Wyoming, Mississippi, and Alabama. So I can tell you today that I kept the promise to find them all. They all got a copy of the book in the middle. But while they were in my classroom, they were such a unique group of children, they became the inspirations for the animals. Sent home letters, asked the parents if I could use their names in stories, and the parents all thought it was cool. And so as the stories came to me in the middle of the night, which is when they usually came, I would bring them to school and read the stories to the children. And the second book, Cabot the Rabbit, it's a little boy, his name is Cabot. His mom and grandmother prayed that I would get him in 2nd grade. They saw me MC the honors program the year before when his sister was in 2nd grade, and they prayed for me to get him, and they told me about it once I got Cabot, and I was humbled to think that somebody went to God for me. And so that's the story of his mother praying for him to be chosen. And he has a dilemma. He doesn't really want to leave his family, but he's got to listen to God. He doesn't know what to do. We all have dilemmas and choices in life.
That's right.
And the third book, The Perfect Monkey, got a little boy in my classroom named Jeffrey. I was voluntold to be the inclusion teacher, which meant I had the special ed students with regular ed students that particular year. And Jeffrey had never been in a regular classroom. He was always in a special ed classroom. And I gave him a little girl named Gabby who had no siblings and loved being Jeffrey's partner. And their friendship through the year became the inspiration for The Perfect Monkey. And when the story was written, I read it to them. And years later, his mother asked me, Jeffrey groaned, said, "What animal is Jeffrey?" And I said, "You need to ask Jeffrey what he is." And Jeffrey remembered he was a monkey. So the stories became the children. And yes, there were more stories.
I am so excited. I'm getting excited about this because, I mean, you not only have written the stories, you have actually included real life characters. And to include a child in anything will be something that will make a mark on their life. It'll be a memory not only for you,
Yes.
but also for them, and that the parents are all for it. It's how not be.
How could you
So
not be for
how
that?
could you not
How could
be,
you not
you
be? And
know?
they'll have very positive messages. So, so when I read the books to me are more than just books, because they are personal in that they're inspired by children I actually taught, and events in the stories happen, some of them anyway.
Well, we're going to move back to widescreen right now because I want to bring up something that I didn't tell you, but it just came across my mind right
Okay.
now. You know, Terry, when another director, Danny Wells, and I had gone out to film you and all those students, and you waited patiently while we were lost trying to find your school, we actually got there, and those children were so excited to be there. And that right there showed just how much not only did they love you, that the school loved you enough to wait and wait. I think we're like an hour and a half
Yeah,
late.
the kids really, I remember when you came to the classroom, the children really enjoyed that, the fact that they were going to get to be filmed.
That's
He
right.
also came out another time, I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, go
He
ahead,
came
tell us.
out when Southside Bakery was on Johnson Street. He came out and videotaped Tanya Alt, who is the girl that does all the technical stuff for me, even though she lives in Dalton, Georgia. She's a former student. She does all the technical
And
things.
she had come down.
She came down, yes, she did. She came down for a book signing, and she was there, and Danny came.
Isn't that awesome?
And he filmed us. It was really interesting. She enjoyed it a lot.
Well, you
And
know,
I appreciate that.
You know what? Things like that make me smile because of the fact that that little bit of a part I had played a part in something God wanted for you that was
Yes.
already planned. And because Danny went on to do so many other things, I had a season with him, and thanks to him, I now have wonderful directors too that just keep being sent to me, and it's all in God's plan.
It is.
Because, with the director we have right now, it's only because he is for what we're doing. He's doing the best he can do, and he wants to be a part of this team. But the reason I brought that up is that seasons change. Okay, so here you are, all that energy, all these kids you've taught over these years, and then you've written a book, and you plan on writing more books. Okay, so therefore, I'm interested in keeping track of you.
Okay.
So according to what we have on the screen, if anyone has any questions or they'd like to keep up with you and see where you are and what you're doing, then they can check out the www.thearcseries.com and ask questions, and you will respond.
They can purchase books. I hope that you'll ask about the Donate a Book mission.
Well, this is why I'm bringing this up.
Yeah.
First of all, you can always find out, where Terry's going to be in her book signings, and I'm going to go ahead and plug it right now, because we're going to be taking this video, and we're going to be using it on AOC Viewing to share with you, because she has agreed to come to a author book expo in August 6th in Grand Coteau, Louisiana, and you will hear more about that. So with that said, Donate a Book is a mission that she would love to share you some details.
Yes.
Mainly about what it's about and not about prices or anything
No,
like
it's
that.
not about prices. The books are all accelerated reader books, which I like to refer to as AR.
Explain that,
Okay, I'll
please.
explain what that is. AR is a subscription service that schools across the country subscribe to, where children can read books that are AR books that already have quizzes made. Renaissance Learning, Inc. decides on the questions and the point value of the books. And it was a journey to become AR. It doesn't happen overnight. And Renaissance Learning, Inc. got about 200 submits from students and people across the country for Why Snails Are Slow. So once they got all those submits, they contacted me and asked me to send 2 copies. And I did, and they determined the level, the questions, and then once it becomes AR, that's great. Well, the next 2 books came out, the second and third book, Cabot the Rabbit and the Perfect Monkey came out, and I asked, do they automatically become AR? And I was told, no, you have to start all over.
Okay.
But the second time, it only took about 50 submits on those 2 books, and then they asked for copies of the books. They made the test, they determined the levels, the AR levels, and then they're all AR. So once it became all AR, I asked God, okay, now what am I supposed to do, God? They're all AR. And so he laid it upon my heart that what I was supposed to do was to get them gifted into the public schools in Lafayette Parish. That's where I taught for almost 22 years. The rest of the time I taught in Georgia.
Okay.
And so I started just asking people, businesses, friends, and it snowballed into more than the public schools because I had friends whose grandchildren attend Catholic schools, and they were like, well, can I gift a set to a Catholic school? So I would do all the research on the schools and tell them, sure, that St. Michael's in Crowley does AR, and a friend bought the books, and I would bring them. So it has snowballed from, now remember, it started in November of 2015. By the end of the year, in December, the end of December, it was in 50 schools, and now today it's in 84 schools in 10 different states. And not 84 schools, 82 schools. 2 others are library where they're regional libraries. Lafayette Parish has a set in their regional library that you can actually check out. And East Mississippi, in Quinton, Mississippi, they got a set because Lafayette Parish got a set. So it has snowballed into what started out as just being the public schools. They're now in public, private, Catholic, and Christian schools in 10 different states, and that's a God thing. That is God. It shows the generosity of the people that God places in my path because all of the books have been purchased by others. I try to deliver the books where possible.
So let me clear this up and slow this train down just enough to where I make sure, Katiana, what's happened is that people have taken upon themselves to purchase a set of books and then donate it to who?
To a school, a specific school. If they don't have a specific school, they'll let me choose a school.
Okay, so if they don't have a preference,
Right,
then
if they don't, yes, if they don't have a preference, sometimes they might say, well, like recently, a person donated a set and let me pick the school, and I picked a school in Mobile, Alabama, because I was going with the UL softball team. That's where they played the Sun Belt Conference. So I actually got to deliver the books to a school in Mobile, Alabama, just outside the campus of South Alabama. It was interesting to deliver it to somebody that, instead of shipping them, I took them in person. So
you know
that was
what,
interesting.
Terry? Okay, you said 2015, and it's just 2016. Are you telling me all of this has happened within a year? It wasn't overnight.
It's not even
but it snowballed.
The Donate a Book mission started in November, so November, December, January,
go
February,
ahead.
March, April, May. In less than 6 months, yes, that's how generous people are here. Like, the generosity of the people in Lafayette is unbelievable. How kind they are, and they believe in the books, and they love to donate to schools. I tell them schools don't have a lot of money, whether it's a Catholic school, or private school, or Christian school, or public school. You know, they love getting books, and schools that subscribe to AR love getting new AR books. They love it. So when I deliver it and say these books are AR, and I always provide a donor card.
Okay.
So the librarian knows who is giving the books.
Okay.
And all the information that comes with AR, the levels and the test quiz numbers and all the test numbers. So it's about the donors.
Okay.
I tell them, I'm just the author. The books, it comes through me to them. And I really believe that children will read the books, get the messages of the books, take the test, and then I tell my friends and people that donate that you'll never know what child's life will be touched by a book that you gave to a library. I'll never know it, you may never know it, but trust me, some child will pick up the book and read it and realize.
Well, let me remind you that when it's a God thing, somehow He will get that information back to you a little bit at a time and let you know that so-and-so happened, and you will get that pat on the shoulder that only God can give
Right,
you.
and I sign
know?
every book except for the ones that go to public schools. And that's enough, we don't want to get in trouble for that. I sign every book for His glory.
Amen.
Every book is signed for His glory. And I tell people, it's a God thing. When they say, wow, 84 libraries, I'll say, it's a God thing. It's God. I realize that. And when you realize God is part of this, it opens doors. You just realize when it happens. Like meeting you and being across the street from you, what are the odds of that happening on that particular Saturday?
I even said, wait a minute, I'm limited on running these days, but I was going to beat that traffic and run across the street to say at least hi. Okay, Terry, how long did it take you to write the first book, the second book, and the third book?
Well,
literally.
Literally, the first book, Why Snails Were Slow, was originally called The Journey. It wasn't called Why Snails Are Slow.
Okay.
And I was blessed to go down to the public library downtown, and Frank, the man that illustrates the Froggy books, which are very big in schools with little kids.
Yes.
He read the story and wrote me a letter and said, it's a great story, but it might get lost with the title. He said, please consider a different title. He didn't tell me to change it. I just said, you might want to consider. And so I thought about, what is the book really about? It's really about why snails are slow. So that's how it got changed. But the story was written in like 1993, but it didn't really become a book in book form until 2011.
Okay.
So it was a journey to become that. And I think had the children in my class in 2003 not encouraged me, I don't think it ever would have become a book. I think one of them spoke out. I like to say it was God speaking through a child. I couldn't tell you which one said it, of the 21, but it was such an encouragement to me that it just lifted my spirits. And even during the year when I would get rejection letters, I would read the letters to the children, and they would say, but you told us Thomas Edison took 900 times to get that light bulb. You told us that, Dr. Seuss took 28 publishing companies before somebody accepted his book. So they were telling me what I'd tell them, don't give up, you'll get there. The other two books came as a result of having those children in my class. I'd just wake up at night, and they were just an inspiration. They believed in me like I believed in them, and it's interesting because teachers all over, I thank teachers when I read to classes. I thank them for being teachers. That's a hard job.
Yes, it is.
It's a very hard job, and I thank them for their time, for my being able to read to their children. But I thank them for all that they do for children, because it is an extremely hard job, and they know that.
That's right.
And they're very appreciative when I do that, and so I mean it, because if you do something for 40 years, you know it's hard.
I know, and also too, I truly believe what my sister-in-law, who has passed on since, said. If everybody would be, if everyone would have to mandatory teach or sit in one time a year as the teacher's relief, then there would be no complaining. There'd be more support for the teachers.
Correct. Yeah.
So I decided, of course, I love being around kids, so it was okay with me. But I remember her saying that only then, if you've been in that atmosphere where it takes more than just teaching. It takes a lot of love.
It does.
And all that. Well, since we're being so thankful for so many things, you want to kind of share the gift that's sitting on the table, the two snails?
Oh, yeah. The two snails that are sitting on the table. I was doing a book signing at Cajun Tales in Abbeville, and there were some really interesting animals, three-dimensional animals, and I was really noticing them, and I thought, I need something for my book, for the snail book. And so I got the name of the lady who did that. She came over, we met, and I said, I would like some snails, but snails don't have arms. The other animals, the raccoons and the bears had arms and legs, and snails don't. And so she took the book, and she came up with an idea, and then she came up with another idea, and so we agreed on a price for her artwork, which is absolutely beautiful. And then once they became real, when we met, she refused to take money. She said, I don't want to be paid. I said, well, what do you want? She said, I want future books. So every time a book comes out, I contact Susie and I tell her, here comes, I'll go, and I deliver them to her home.
See, there you are again, keeping your promise.
I do. I really believe in that.
I do too.
And so when she tells me she wants a copy for herself, for her grandson, and one for the neighbor, I don't have a problem. If she told me I want 10 books, I would give her 10. Because her artwork is so wonderful. And when children see the book when I'm reading it in school, they'll say, that looks just like the book, and it does. I don't have that talent. That's not a talent I have, that art talent.
And that right there adds on to an already special story. Well, let me ask you this, okay? Can you kind of give us an idea of the name of maybe a future book?
Well, the fourth book,
The character.
The fourth book, I've already told my husband, they're all really written. And I told my husband the other day, I said, I know which one I want to be for. And it's tentatively called Special Friends. And it's the friendship of the cat and the mouse on board the ark. But since all the books have animal names in it, Why Snails Are Slow, Cabot the Rabbit, and the Perfect Monkey, I'm debating about changing the title to Why Cat and Mouse Are Friends, or Cat and Nat. Actually, it's Cat and Nat, based on some friends of mine. So, that's the one I want to be fourth. They're not, I didn't really teach them, but they're really good friends.
Well, I am sure that I can say this safely and say, you must have a circle of special friends that know you, love you, and trust anything you want to do and not be surprised at what you do.
No, they probably wouldn't. In fact, the title, The Special Friends, came from Nat. So actually, their names are Nat, well, it's Catherine and Natalie, but their friends call them Nat and Cat. And so they're the inspirations for the mouse and the cat. So, but the other ones on the, I have a Jean and the Bear. I have, oh gosh, I can't think, Underwater Friends. It's just, the stories just come.
Okay, Terry, I have no idea how much time we have in the show, and they'll be coming in here in a minute, but I want you to share, why do you have such a passion and a love and a vision for children? Where was it instilled?
Actually, I had my favorite teacher. I went to Catholic schools in New Orleans, never had a nun, and in the 6th grade, my mom went back to the school and said, my child's been in school for 6 years, she's never had a nun. So they switched me from the lay teacher's room to the nun's room. And Sister Mary Ellen believed in me. I didn't really believe in myself. She believed in me, and she made everybody in the room feel like they were special. And from that moment on, that's when I decided to become a teacher. She's still alive today. She's still a nun. I blame her for all those 40 years of grading papers. But she was such an inspiration and believed in me that I believed in myself. So when I looked for a profession, I thought teaching. And I tried all the years to try to make the children believe in themselves, because sometimes they come to school and they don't have a good support system for believing in themselves. In fact, I will tell you this, so since you brought that up.
Yes.
The girl that does the web page for the book and does the business cards and all that, she was actually in my class in 4th grade when I had my youngest daughter, who's now 33, and Tanya contacted me, and we got to talk to each other, and she actually does the web page for a church. Not the church she worships at, but the church she works at.
Okay.
And so she offered to volunteer to do the technical things. So she does the web page, she does the business cards, she designed the banner, and so I have to give Tanya all credit for that. But I taught her in 4th grade. My husband taught her in high school English. Very smart.
Where does she live now?
She lives in Dalton, Georgia.
Okay.
So
now, if I remember, there was a special article done on you when she came down, not just us filming. Somebody else was there and wrote an article. I remember seeing a picture of you and another person, but just recently another picture also where you were talking about the ARC series and the donated books mission.
I'm not sure if it was Tanya. We flew the illustrator for the first book, Why Snails Are Slow, Jessie. She worked for the company in Oklahoma, and we flew her in. She had never been to Louisiana, so when she was in Lafayette, we took her to all things like we ate at old time and places like, yeah, you got to go to the swamp, and she loved it. And the minute she got off the plane, she was a young girl, 22 years old, and she, we talked with her parents about her coming here because, the parents didn't know us, and we had met her. We went to the company and actually met her, and as soon as she got off the plane, I said, welcome to Louisiana, here's 350 books to sign. So people had pre-ordered the books, friends and teachers I worked with. So plus, I made sure that she went to Randall's and so she got a taste of Lafayette while she was here. So,
okay, so we have about 3 minutes left in the show.
And that's Jessie. She was the illustrator for the middle one, but she's a missionary now in Germany, so she couldn't illustrate the other two. But she's very, 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 very talented.
We have 3 minutes left in the show. Is there anything that we have not talked about that you would like to talk about before I jump in?
No,
something else?
Other than I would again like to thank everybody in Lafayette, everybody who's bought a set of books and gifted them, whether it was a business, an individual, whether they were tied to the school or not. I want to say that the people here in this area are so generous, and that I try to make everything, the Donate a Book mission, or when I get in an article in a newspaper, I try to make it about them. And so I want them to know that they may have purchased the book, 3 or 4 months ago, but I will never forget their generosity.
Okay, Terry, from beginning to end, you started, and today, how long has it been on this journey?
From the first book, from the first book, well, if you go 1993 until now, let's see, 93 and answer 20. What is that? 24 years? 23 years?
Yeah.
That's a math teacher in me. It's a journey. It is a journey. Absolutely.
And it's been worth every step of the way.
Absolutely. It's a lot of work, but I'm passionate about it because I feel like I'm doing what God wants me to do, and that when He opens a door, blesses me, like today with you, or somebody that buys a set of books and we gift them, that when He opens the doors, I'm thankful for Him and for the people, and I thank Him all the time.
I do too, and that's why He keeps opening doors for us.
Yes, He will.
And I can tell you, Terry, right now that I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that today is just the beginning of more days to come.
Thank you.
And that I'm excited that I've been allowed for you to come in on this show, and even more excited that other people are going to be able to experience your high energy, and everything else, and enjoy your books, and the books are fantastic. So we look forward to hearing more about you. I will be plugging you on Facebook.
I
We will
appreciate
be
that.
showing the video quite a bit on AOC. But right now, guess what? Our fun time is over.
Oh, I never answered.
Almost. I know. Listen.
I didn't have to sing good.
Hey, not yet, not yet. Listen to Katiana. This is Terry L. Bethea. She's an author of the ARC series that has turned into a mission, and even donate a book mission that where people do purchase and they donate to different schools, and if not, then she can share your donation with someone else. Until next time, we air every Monday night at 9 p.m. And so maybe it might be you or perhaps even Terry coming back in with another book to share with us. And later on, you will be hearing more about Terry through the videos that we do show on AOC. Until then, tune in every Monday night at 9 p.m. It just might be you, or who knows, a friend of Terry's
Could be.
coming
Could
in,
be.
or one of your children coming
Could
in.
be.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That'd be awesome to bring a few of them on the next time we come up, so I can arrange that.
Why don't we do
That
that?
would be interesting.
How about bring your characters in of the books and we could do another show on
There
that?
you go. That would be interesting.
Well, listen, Katiana, thank you so much for viewing, and we enjoyed being here. And if you have any ideas, shoot it to AOC. We'll work on that too. But right now, I'm going to hold you to it.
Okay. You
Thanks
will.
again for
Thanks
being on the
again.
show,
Thanks for having
Terry,
me. I
and I
appreciate
look
it.
forward to hearing all about your future books.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.